Welcome to another episode of Trendy with Kim Allison. Okay, Trendy Tribe. I have a truly inspiring power couple with me today, Megan and Brad Skaggs. From struggling with debt and living paycheck to paycheck to becoming millionaires by the age of 32, their journey has been incredible. Megan, a talented hairstylist, and Brad, a real estate pro, have built an incredible platform, Beauty of Wealth, dedicated to teaching hairdressers how to achieve financial freedom. They're here to share their story, insights on building wealth, and practical tips for setting yourself up for success in this industry. So let's get inspired, everybody. Megan and Brad, welcome to the show. That was a mouthful.
Thank you for the kind intro. It's an honor to be here.
Yes, we're so excited, Kim. Thank you for having us on the show.
It's my pleasure, and thank you for coming on the show.
Yes, we really appreciate it.
All righty, so let's get into you guys. First of all, let's start from the beginning. Megan, how did you start your hairdressing career?
Oh man, I feel like everyone has the same story, but I'll share mine. I did go to community college right out of high school and was working on my AA, and I was a sign language major. And of course, my parents were like, okay, you gotta stick to something that's 9 to 5. And I really always wanted to do hair, and nothing I was doing in college was gonna make anyone happy. So I was like, I'm gonna go to beauty school and do what I really like if no one's gonna be happy. And that was a struggle for some of my family members. But I think they just didn't want me to have to really do my own business. Obviously, it's hard. There's challenges. But I assisted. I actually went to Paul Mitchell, Sacramento, and then I moved to San Diego, and I assisted 2 platinum artists. I learned so much about hair, which if you ever want to assist, I highly encourage assisting because I learned so much. And got the foundations to understand how to build a clientele, do highlights, do all the technical stuff. But the one thing that was really missing was the financial stuff. So it really helped that. Brad helped me along that after I was already in for so many years.
No, I love that. How did you two meet, and how long have you guys been married?
Like I said, I'm from San Diego. Brad is from Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
I had some friends and I were going to Florida for a music festival in Tortuga, or Fort Lauderdale, Tortuga, the country music festival. And we had some mutual friends and we met at the country music festival.
Aw, I love that. So you don't have an online, I met him on an app story. That's a genuine connection. No, It's all genuine. I feel bad. Every time I say that, I'm like, nope, doesn't mean
right.
Because you meet on an app. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
We did long distance for a long time, or not even that long, but 9 months from when we knew each other. And I packed up everything and moved to Oklahoma.
Ooh, what a strong connection. I love that. And how long have you been married?
We just celebrated our 5 years. We've been together almost 9.
Okay. Yeah. Decent. That's about a decade, and you guys are still happily married. I love it. I'm a fan. So was it love at first sight, or did it take some time for you to realize that you were meant to be partners both in life and now in business?
I feel like we played the game with each other. Like one tried to be like, oh, I don't like you as much as you like me. And I feel like we both played that game with each other. But I kind of knew, like, the moment I saw her that this was my girl for sure.
Aw, I love that. But we are all so guarded, right? We want to protect the heart. We don't want to be the one that gets hurt. That's all a defense mechanism. Yeah. If we could only just be free to love, wouldn't that be nice? But you guys made it. You found your way there.
We did. We did.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you've both had quite a journey together, from being in debt to becoming millionaires. Amazing. Can you share the story of how you found yourselves drowning in debt and what that breaking point was? Because I know we talked before and you said 2020 is when you had your just epiphany. It was your pivotal moment. But what led you to turning everything around? What was it about that year? Well, I mean, outside of the disaster going on around us.
You okay? I'll start. And
You'll
then
start.
You can finish. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think whenever Megan moved to Oklahoma City, I had a really good W-2 job at the time working for a real estate developer. And Megan coming here, I didn't realize, and this is just ignorance on my end, how much money hairstylists can make. Like the successful ones like Megan, she does really, really well. And with my W-2 salary, I think us joining forces financially, and she would bring in money every day, $600, $1,000 every day. And I wasn't used to that. And so we started spending like crazy. We started spending like Congress, and just like buying things we couldn't really afford, not thinking of, what that would do to our future, always having debt and payments. And it just eventually, like, it creeps up on you out of nowhere. Like, it doesn't just happen at once, but
Right.
you buy this, you buy that, and then all of a sudden something bad happens, and you realize, we ended up 6 figures in debt, and not including like our house mortgage. We just had like credit cards, personal loans, cars, just like, and I know it's easy to judge and think, oh, that I could never get in that situation, but it does kind of happen slowly. And then
more people are in that situation than not.
Yeah, and it's scary. And like, I'll be vulnerable here. Like, it was a tough start to our marriage, getting into that much debt, especially that early on. Like, when we combined our finances, we felt like suffocated, and it's a hard start to the marriage, right? I mean,
yeah, and I just felt like we were making great money, but I couldn't keep up. Like, hair wasn't fun anymore. Like, I was like, okay, I need this person because I have to pay this bill, or I'm trying to pay this off. And it really took the magic out of hair and my clients. And I'm sure I was a miserable stylist. And that's a rough pill to swallow. It really is, because now I just truly love every single person that comes through the door and sits in my chair. And I genuinely love doing everything. And my business is even booming more because of that. I don't know. Like, it's weird. And I'm just so thankful now that we went through that, because I can really be thankful for even my hard days. I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. And I'm okay, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. And I want to circle back to something that we all say, like what you said in the very beginning. As stylists, like when I left my state position at ASU and told my mom and my parents I was going to be a hairdresser, and they're like, wait, what? Like, you work for the state. What about your retirement? What about your benefits? And I don't think people give hairdressing the credit that it deserves. And I don't think they realize that if you have business sense, this can be a lucrative career just like any other career. So as it turns out, you are a perfect example of that. Right, yeah. Brad? Because you said, I didn't realize how much money stylists made. I don't think anybody realizes how much money we make.
100%.
Or that we're capable,
Yeah. And when we file our taxes, our CPA is like, holy, like, she made that much behind the chair? I was like, yeah, I mean.
I remember, Brad, applying for a Nordstrom's credit card when I was applying for credit cards way back in the day. And I told, when I listed what my take home was, your annual salary.
Yeah.
And the girl, literally, I'll never forget this woman, middle-aged woman, telling me, she said, ooh, this is a lot for a hairdresser. Almost like I was making it up. Oh, that pissed me off so bad. I was like, well, I'm not making it up. Clearly, that's what I make, but I digress. All right. So for many in the beauty industry, achieving financial stability can be challenging, as we know. You've not only paid off your debt, but also invested in an apartment building you shared with me, backing up your message with real success, which is great. Now, can you walk us through how you went from being in debt to becoming millionaires in just 4 short years? Can you share your story?
You want me to? You want to go?
Yeah, I'll kind of start we own a few different apartment complexes.
Ooh, my mistake. I love it. Oh my God. I love giving the flowers. This is right up my alley. I mean, share the love and the success, please. I'm all ears.
I've always been kind of interested in real estate, but I just never really understood how to kind of get there. And with Brad, I was like, okay, this is perfect. And almost like ignorance is bliss. Like I found when I first moved to Oklahoma City, I found a really, really small pocket, and it's like the arts district. And it was, I like to say, up and coming.
Yeah.
We all know what that means.
Yeah, right. You're getting ready to get rid of some folks.
Yes, there was, and I found a 5-plex, and there was like a homeless person living in the back, one of the units. There was cinder blocks on the back, like holding the back up. And I mean, I was like, we got this, like just really didn't understand like how much work it was he did. But I was like, no, we got this. Like, it's fine. Like if we don't take the chance, everyone's like, it's at the height of you're buying at the height of the market. And I'm like, it's okay. If we never do it, we never do it. Like we have to just take the chance. And we did. And I'm grateful that we did, because now we bought it for 200, put some work into it, and it's evaluated at
it's worth roughly $650,000 to $700,000 5 years later. So
that's amazing. And most people would look at a distressed property like that and think, ew, no. Yeah. So, good for you, because that's how money is made in real estate.
And we really took and a lot of few general contractors were like, I don't even want to touch that project. Like, yeah, it was bad. And I was just like, so like, we got this. Like, we can't. I was just like that person that was like, it's fine. We'll do the work. We got this. And that kind of some people saw us and our families do that, kind of thought we were crazy. And that kind of led us to our next building, which was a 7. And then our next was a 4, then a duplex, then a 20 unit. And it's just built and built and built and recycled that money, which has helped us get where we are today.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that's amazing. And that's where real estate meets hair.
Yeah.
That's where the two come together, right? For you guys?
Yeah.
Because it's your expertise, Brad, in real estate.
It's all his expertise.
No. Yeah, I think it was important for us to get out of debt, first of all. And so our mission before we could start investing into real estate was, we need to get out of our consumer debt, because there's nothing that we can really invest in that's going to outpace credit card interest. And so we talk about this. We actually got a whiteboard, a big whiteboard, 4x4 whiteboard, put it up in our room, and we wrote down every single debt we have. Okay. From smallest to largest. And we said, okay, we're going to put a date next to these when we're going to knock these out. And that was something we went to bed with looking at night, and something we woke up to looking at in the morning. And every week when she got paid behind the chair and I got paid for my job, we would start knocking those out. And you can see it, the momentum start to progress. And as you start knocking these debts off, it's the best feeling in the world. And we were able to, it was right under 100,000. We round up to 100, but it was like $97,000 we were able to pay off in 18 months. And so
that's incredible.
We were like, we're never going into debt again after this, because it was stressful. And, and it really hit us when COVID hit, because we just didn't have any income for a while. And we didn't realize how client to client and check to check we were living until we didn't have any income coming in.
When it stopped
coming in because of COVID.
Abrupt. Yeah. Especially if you were, I don't know, what was the climate as far as COVID and shutdown is concerned in Oklahoma? Because I know in some states it was more lax, where as in others, it was just highly secured.
I think it was definitely more lax than Oklahoma, but we still did have a 3 or 4 month period where it was pretty strict, and that was enough to scare the hell out of us. We had to, figure out ways to still make our payments on everything, and so it just really scared us. And so we were like, once we got everything, we got the vision with that board, we got everything paid off, and then we were like, okay, we knocked out $96,000 in 18 months. What can we do for the rest of our life if we keep this same momentum? And that's when we started investing in a fiveplex, and we didn't lax after that and go, okay, now let's go spend the money. Let's go get back into debt.
Yeah.
We wanted to create an environment for ourselves to where we can put money to work and receive passive income, and to where Megan's not tied behind the chair until she's, 65 or 70.
For sure.
Yeah. And so that's what our goal was to be able to, for her to be able to work less, have some passive income, and then also invest in our future.
Very smart. I love that, especially at a young age. Were you going to say something, Megan?
Yes. I just want to say, like, it was such an intense time. Like, the whiteboard obviously is not aesthetically pleasing, but it worked. And not many people that came into our room, but like friends judged us, and that was okay. We lost friends along the way, and you have to do what's best for you. We're in a way better position, and we did celebrate those small wins. Like, as dumb as this sounds, we went to a local little dive bar, and after every credit card was paid off, everything, like one each time was paid off, we went and got a $15 bottle of champagne and split it, because that was a reward. Like, that sounds so cheap, and it was not the best champagne, but it was like, hey, these are small victories that we have to celebrate. So like, if you are finding yourself like, oh my gosh, I need to pay off debt, don't forget to celebrate yourself, because you'll go crazy. You have to celebrate yourself, even the smallest wins.
I think that is key, what you just said, because you think you own things, but if you have loans and credit cards, you don't own anything.
Right.
And so what you're calling a $15 bottle of champagne, you were able to buy that outright with actual disposable income, because that's the financial sense that a lot of people don't have. It's if you owe anybody anything, including your house and your car, to some degree, you're still in debt.
Yeah. And I think you just nailed, I was just going to mention that. She drives a 2012 Camry still to this day. I drive a 2016 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and they've been paid off for years, but we know the importance of not trying to keep up with the Joneses anymore. So we can eventually buy something nicer one day, but right now we're still investing and trying to stay out of debt. So
I know when we try to keep up with the Joneses, guess what? The Joneses are broke. So keep on keeping on, trying to keep up with them.
Yeah,
all I know is I sleep at night.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't get one thing. I'm not afraid to go to the mailbox. Okay. Just open that door with confidence. Exactly. I don't owe anybody anything. Yeah. A lot of stylists focus on building clientele, but overlook the importance of building wealth, which is what we're talking about. What are some common mistakes you see stylists make when it comes to managing their finances, as we can personally attest to?
I find the biggest mistake, and I was this way too. So like, I never want to come off as like judging or anything. So I just want full transparency. Like, I was this way too. We don't know what we're truly making behind the chair. We're not tracking our income and expenses. We don't know our profit and loss per service. We're guessing how much we're truly making per service, and neighbor guessing. And that's not okay. And we need to treat this really like a business. As like Redken, Joico, all those companies, they know their profit and their loss. That's why they're charging you what they're charging you. Stylists, we need to do the same. This is a business. Treat it like a business. Know your numbers. I hear all the time, we're not good with numbers, but money is numbers. I love money. You do too. That's why you're in this industry. Get comfortable with it. Just start small and look of like, open a QuickBooks account and be like, okay, this is how much I'm making each week or month, and just kind of being aware of that. Don't be scared of it.
Yeah, I agree. And we say we're not good with numbers, but a 4-00 plus, you know, all the formulation, got those numbers down, don't you?
Yes. Yeah, we're
You
going
know how to spend money on those numbers.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely a lesson for all of us, that you're right. Nobody goes into business to break even or lose money.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
The pandemic hit many industries hard, especially the beauty industry, as you guys spoke about earlier. What advice do you have for hairdressers trying to future-proof their finances against unexpected challenges, such as what we experienced in the pandemic?
You go, baby.
I think it's super, super important to, first of all, just not get into too much debt. And I think we all feel like when the good times are here, it's never going to stop. And so I don't know, you know, so it's just so to not get ahead of your skis and to make sure you don't get in over your head with debt. And if you really want to future proof yourself, we always preach at least have 4 to 6 months of an emergency savings in case something does happen. And I think that those two things would put you ahead of most people in this business if something were to happen again.
Yeah, I like that. Great answer. What role do you think mindset plays in becoming financially independent? You know, how did you shift your mindset from living client to client and building real wealth? And how can new stylists apply that same mindset to their lives? I know you touched on it a little bit, but specifically, if you had to talk to a new stylist, what would you tell them? Like, get your mind right. How?
I always like to write things down of what my true goals are. And I mean, even when before I moved to Oklahoma with Brad, I wrote down all my financial goals and how much like it was for me to keep up with my lifestyle, like coming to the table of like, these are my expectations, and do that for yourself too. Don't just wait for a partner to do that. We always individually check on each other throughout the year of like, hey, are we still on target for our goals? What do you really want? Where do you see yourself going? If you write these down for a newer stylist, it really puts things into perspective. You're not guessing. You're not being like, I hope I'm doing this right. I think I want to go in this direction. If you want to become an educator, the educators don't happen overnight. Linson didn't happen overnight. You have to work for it and keep going and be consistent. And he had a plan you have to make sure that you know exactly what you want. Write it down.
Yeah, I think having a vision is the biggest thing, like what you're saying. And we always like to use the analogy, if you're in a plane and you don't have a final destination, you're just flying around. And so when you take off, you better know where your final destination is. And that's where that vision comes into place. And not saying that your vision won't change over time. Of course it will, as we get older and get new responsibilities and kids and maybe aspire to open up a salon. But as long as you have some kind of vision you're shooting towards, that I think is what's going to make you, consistency will make you successful as well.
Oh, no, that's a great response. And I love analogies. And that reminds me of me trying to do this show before I mapped out my questions. And, you know, I have a friend, she always says, okay, Kim, land your plane. I'm like, I know, I'm all over the place. I'm here, I'm there. And now I'm talking about this and that. And she's like, girl, let's get to it. I'm like, you're right. So now if you map it out to your point, yeah, you know where you're going. You have a beginning, middle, end, which is nice.
Yeah.
Well, and also too, it's like if you don't have a plan, like I'm sorry, but you could be easily distracted of like, hey, if a girlfriend's like, do you want to go to happy hour, instead of maybe making sure that you're hitting your daily income goal, you're going to choose happy hour because that's instant if you don't have your goals and vision long term for you.
And I don't think, I mean, I'm sure you would agree that people, you know, it's not the big purchases that add up. It's the 1,000 little purchases that put you over because you keep doing it because it's so small.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't,
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. When you get into credit card debt, it's not that sofa you bought that puts you in the debt. It's the 100 Uber Eats that you bought for the month that puts you in debt.
Preach.
And thank God for you guys. Your platform, Beauty of Wealth, focuses on helping stylists build wealth and save for retirement. Can you share your top 5 strategies you teach in your course that help stylists start thinking beyond the chair.
Yeah. So the first thing that we always tell people is really sorry. We wrote a little note. So if you see me glancing down,
No, defer, please. It's our map. The maps belong on the show.
the first tip that we wanted to share is really when you do go on your own as a stylist, make sure that you establish yourself as a business. This is so important. You take your business more seriously. If you decide to go the LLC route, you have that limited liability protection. If you ever need a loan, you can go, you have a true business. It's so much easier.
People will also treat you differently. Like if, like you mentioned earlier, you went to get a Nordstrom's credit card, or if you go to get a loan to purchase a home from a bank, and they're just looking at like almost like it's a hobby, like you're intermingling your personal and your business together. They don't look at your business as a true business. And so I think establishing yourself as a business is a huge game changer, but not only in your eyes, but in other people's eyes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. For stylists who are just starting their careers, it can feel overwhelming to think about wealth building and retirement. What steps can a newer stylist make, one who's just trying to make ends meet right now? And what I mean by that is they're listening to this and they're like, yeah, but I can't even buy the Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if they're feeling overwhelmed and we're getting all the way over to retirement and wealth and all of these things in their little brains, they're like, step 1, what is that?
Oh man, well, I was there. Whenever you say that, like my heart immediately goes to, oh my gosh, I was making $8 an hour as an assistant in San Diego. Like, and I just remember I've always been very kind of frugal, but I remember writing down everything I would make and everything I would spend that day in a notebook because I couldn't afford the apps or anything like that. You just have to go back to the basics of just being like, okay, am I going to survive this day to day? I know in the big picture, I want to do that retirement and everything. But for me, it's just making sure you are tracking your income and back to tracking your income and expenses. If you don't know what you're truly making, how do you know what you can and cannot afford?
Yep. Awareness.
No, yeah, it's good. Great point. And because that niched it down all the way to that new hairdresser who is like, okay, yeah, Ella, whatever. That's way down the line because they're like 18 years old. But if the pro tip is to give them one day at a time, well, then it gets more relatable. Now that huge picture, becomes more of a single focus, which I'm sure it makes perfect sense to me, because biting off a little bit at a time instead of the whole big,
enchilada
ball of all the things, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Okay, Megan, I have something to ask you. As someone who's still working behind the chair part-time, how do you balance your role as a stylist with running your financial platform? And what advice do you have for other stylists who want to transition into other ventures, such as what you've done?
If I find that balance, I'll let you know.
Does it exist?
Where's that? I just say go for it. Like, really, you have to love it. Not every day is going to be the best day. There are hard times, and just giving yourself grace is the biggest thing. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy at all. There's going to be really hard times, but the reward is so worth it. And I'm thankful that I love all my coworkers. They make it fun, and my clients are awesome. It took me a long time to get there. I'm not saying this happened overnight. Don't get discouraged if you're like, God, some of my clients are so mean to me.
I know.
15 years in the making, I was able to get rid of those. But seeing people successful with our education has made it so rewarding, the long hours and everything. And so I think if you are passionate about it and you're not looking for like a quick overnight success, it's worth it in the long run. And I don't know, you just feel like you're truly supposed to be where you're supposed to be. I don't know.
Is there anything that you could provide to those who are like working as stylists, but they're like, you know what, but I also have a passion in real estate, or I also have a passion in whatever else, as far as kind of connecting those two? Like, how do you keep your mind focused here when you're thinking about all these other things as well?
Just really trying to stay in the moment. Like we talked about this today, like not bringing our phones on a walk. Really, just for my clients don't know I'm doing Via Wealth. I am there for them. I am on their time. This is not me talking about my ventures, because they save to come see me. They look forward to it. It's their time. It's not my time.
I think that's a great perspective, because if you keep the two separate, then yeah, they do become two ventures, and it doesn't get convoluted. I don't really tell my clients about this new venture that I'm doing either. They say, "Oh, you have a YouTube show?" I'm like, "No, because I talk about you." No, I don't have a YouTube show. Nope. I just work here behind the chair, just minding my own business over here. All right. So you've both created a business that focuses on helping stylists manage their finances and grow their wealth. What's the most rewarding part of the work you're doing now?
Ooh, can I answer? And then he has his own answer. Can we do two answers?
Yeah, of course. There are two of you.
And also,
absolutely.
Also, Kim, I didn't know if you were going back to this. I didn't want to shortcut you earlier when you asked for the 5 things. We did one of them. I didn't know if you wanted us to do the other 4. Just throwing that out there.
Oh yeah, I want the 5 things. Okay, let's do it. Cool. I love it.
Okay, we'll answer that question. We'll go back to the 5 things. Is that cool?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
The most rewarding thing for me is, like, I can get emotional about this question, but I cry every time like someone DMs me and is like, "I just paid off my debt." I want to celebrate those days. When people are like, I'm making double from what I was, just because I know my numbers and they haven't changed anything. And like, they're like, my family is having the best, like they're growing for their family, and like seeing people investing, and they're like, I feel so much more confident. And they're like, you've changed my mindset about money. People having the retirement and knowing that they are confident to be able to they're not relying on anyone, like literally makes me like my heart so happy. I'm like, this is what I can
only imagine. That's the reward and all the hard work that you put into your brand.
I mean, and they did the work. We just helped them. Like, we just gave them the steps to take, and they did it for themselves.
Absolutely. Like, you don't know what you don't know, unfortunately. Yeah. And some, do you have, for those that may get a later start, or are you more niche down to people that are just starting their careers?
All in between, starting, middle, and anyone that wants to learn.
Salon owners, suite owners, booth rent stylists, commission going to booth rent. Yeah, from all walks.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's go back, Brad and Megan, to the 5 strategies that you have for stylists as far as building wealth, growing wealth, retirement, savings, all the things.
Yeah. Well, the first one, again, was just establish yourself as a business. The second one would have to be along the same lines, but taking it a step further, and that's separating your business account from your personal account. It makes it easier come tax time. You don't guess, oh, is this a write-off? Is this a write-off? I'm going to try to put this in. I'm going to try to put my Taco Bell in somehow, or whatever the case is. And it just makes it easier for yourself to remember, so you can do your books more efficiently, and it makes it easier on your CPA and your bookkeeper as well. So that would be the second tip for sure.
And number 3?
So in those separate account, in your business account, it's so important to make sure you are saving for taxes, operations, and you're understanding your profit. So we like to say 3 bank accounts under your business. And it sounds like a lot, but it's really not. Having three bank accounts, one for operations, 20%, one for taxes, 20%, and the rest for profit is you're paying yourself.
Now, I know that we hear a lot of flack from like, oh, 20% is not enough for taxes. I agree. Depending on what state you're in, whether you have state income tax or not, depending on a lot of various different factors, you could need to save 25 or even 30% for taxes. That's going to be a filling out process that you and your CPA have to find. But we just recommend at least 20%. And that way, when tax time does come every quarter, you're not scrambling to find $5,000 or $7,000, and you're not reaching for a credit card, more importantly. So you may have to adjust that up a little bit, but that's something that you can feel out. And number 4 would be to get a budget tracking software to help you keep your books prioritized and maintained each week and each month. So you're staying on top of your income coming in, you're keeping track of your expenses, make sure you're not overspending, and you're continually running your profit and loss just to make sure, like if you have a target to hit $100,000 per year, back the math up, and you need to make a little over $8,000 a month, okay, in net profit. So how do you know if you're on target? Well, you keep track of your books, and you look at your books every single month, every week, and every month. And that way, you know if you're going to hit your target. So that would, and you could use like Gloss Genius, QuickBooks Self-Employed. There's a lot of great apps out there that automatically track all this stuff for you. So
yes, it's a lot easier than it sounds, I promise, because it starts to know you. Like it's Willa, it's my booth rent, and I don't even have to categorize it. It does it for you. So step number 5 is just finding the right retirement account and start investing. And the word investing, I love it and hate it too, because investing makes it sound like you have to have thousands of dollars to start, but really you need $50 to start putting $50 away each month. Just make it start to get in the routine or the habit, and make it like a bill, like your future bill. So those are our 5 tips.
All righty. So yes, thank you. Thank you for those 5 tips. And I hope newbies, anybody watching, seasoned or new, that you pick up on these. And where can they go to find those platforms that you recommended to track finances? Can they go to your site and get those?
We have it littered on our Instagram. They're all over.
You have it. Okay.
All over.
Perfect.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, Megan and Brad, so far we've warned, we've advised, we've encouraged, we've pushed, but there are still stylists out there who feel financially stuck, who can't seem to get out of their own way. What would your final plea be to those about importance of seeking financial education and making intentional steps toward financial freedom? Last step, like you guys, listen. This is it, because this is your platform. This is what you do. And we want to direct all the traffic your way. What would be that final plea to those what is the crucial step, or I should say misstep?
I think, do you want to go or you want me to?
You go, and then I can chime in.
I think getting intentional, and I love that word, getting intentional about your life. And a lot of the stylists that come to us they're ready to come to us. Like if someone comes to us that isn't in enough pain or isn't looking for enough a push, I guess, so to speak, like it's either pain seeking or pleasure seeking, the stylists that come to us. And you, like we said earlier, you don't know what you don't know. I think it's being aware of, hey, I'm 40 years old. I don't have anything in my retirement account, and I need to change that now. And then also, conversely, I'm the 20-year-old, and I see that the 40-year-old is in that position. I don't want to be in that position. What can I do to not be in that position? That's awareness, and that's intention. That's being intentional about where you want your future to go. And for us, the biggest thing was when we were in all that debt, we were basically slaves to the lender. And we wanted to be free, so to speak. And so that was the biggest wake up call for us, was being aware of that. And we wanted to be able to travel and not be stuck to working all the time. There's so much more to life than working. And so I think that would be my last plea, to like just get serious about your future. And you have the tools to do this yourself. You don't have to rely on somebody else. It's simple. Just start trying to maybe listen to a really nice podcast like this. Just like pick up little things. Read a good article on finance. Read a good book. And you don't have to read the whole book in one setting. Just read a page, or something. Like, just try to surround yourself with really good people. And if you see someone doing something that's awesome, ask them about it. Yeah.
Ask them.
Yeah, ask them about it.
Simple as that, huh?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I ask questions all the time. All the time. And I always want to surround myself with amazing people. But my last thing that I want to say is, you have anxiety around money because you're not doing anything. You're not looking at it. I hear time and time again, like, I'm so scared to look at my bank account. Guess what? It's going to be there whether you
Yeah.
You might as well face it on, and you're creating more anxiety for yourself the more and more you're putting this off. And just start small. Just start small. Baby steps.
Yeah, I mean, those are good tips. And I went to an event last year because, as we spoke off camera, I have very successful people in my family who inspire me. And one, she spoke at an event last year in LA, and one of the other speakers was Magic Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
And his segment, it interested me other than hers. Like, he said something that just stuck with me. He said, when I was a player, because we know what happens to athletes, right?
Yeah.
They make a whole lot of money and they have no idea where it's going.
At a young age. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And he said something. He said, when I was a player, I started spending a lot of time with Jerry Buss. And Jerry Buss, I would go and hang out with him. And then naturally, I was around all of his friends, golfing and doing whatnot. So the players started to get upset with me. They were like, oh, you're not because it's us against them kind of thing. And he says, you're not a team player. You're hanging out with the owner, da, da, da. And he said, but me, in my mind, I was looking at all the things, their wealth, generationally, the kids, the grandkids, and so on and so forth. And then I was looking at my teammates, and they were all going broke.
Yeah.
At the same age as Jerry Buss and his friends. And he said, so what group would you get in? Like, which group do you want to be in?
Yeah.
No brainer. He said, for me, whereas for others, he said, they didn't get it. They were still just giving me crap about it, which I find that fascinating. The mindset.
Yeah. And that goes again to our point, Kim, where like, when it's good, it's great. You think this money is going to last forever. That money comes easily. And at that such a young age, getting all that money, you think, oh my God, this is never going to end. This is so easy. And you just think it's going to be a lifetime. And with hair, sometimes we have really, really good times and really, really hard times. So it's making sure that you can power through the hard times.
And any job or career that you have that requires your physical body in order to perform, like an athlete, we're no different. If we break our arm, we're not doing hair, are we?
No, we're done.
So you could be making $50,000 a month. I don't know what you're making, and it won't matter if if you haven't thought through or saved or done the things to protect yourself.
100%.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys for all of that valuable information that if you're not watching this, then you're doing yourself a disservice, because there are a lot of good nuggets in this episode that I'm excited to share. So let's get into my newbie insider question for you guys.
Awesome.
Done by Jordan. His name is Jordan Pena, and he's doing everything right as a new stylist. I love him so much. I met him in a class last year, and I've just been following his journey. and he's just doing everything right. So, Jordan, I'm getting ready to ask Megan and Brad your question. Was there someone who taught you this information that you now share and teach to others?
Or
I
like,
think what he's asking is you have this wealth of knowledge. And even though you had the right mindset in 2020 to get yourself out of debt, was there someone who inspired you? Because we don't know what we don't know. We don't even know to the importance if we don't have the right surroundings. So is there somebody in your life
Yeah.
that helped you along?
Yeah, I'll start with me, and we sort of morphed together, but I was lucky enough through nepotism, and my brother's best friend was a self-made millionaire. He was a real estate mogul, and I was fortunate enough right out of school at 21. I met him at a party, and I said, I would love to come work for you and learn from you. I don't have any experience in real estate, but I'll start with sweeping hallways or whatever you need, and doing maintenance. And so I moved from Oklahoma to Virginia. Didn't know a single person. 21 years old, and I wanted to take that leap because I knew that I could learn a lot from this gentleman. And I moved up there, and I did. I started sweeping hallways. I started changing light bulbs, doing all the maintenance stuff at all his real estate properties.
for only 20 grand a year.
Wow. But you know what? That's invaluable.
You know what? I would have paid 20 grand to go get that.
Seriously.
Yeah. And I think that over time, I lived there for years, and I was able to start working my way up through his organization. And I started becoming, now instead of the janitor, I was the property manager. And then I moved from property manager to helping as a project manager for new construction projects. And I saw over the course of 10 years, this gentleman's net worth explode. And I was like, okay, I want this, at some way or another. I want the financial freedom. And so when we met, she had the aspirations of as well as wanting to do real estate. So we were just a perfect match for that. And that was sort of my upbringing in real estate.
Do you have anything you want to add, Megan?
Yeah, I say that he started at 20 grand because I feel like sometimes social media makes it to where we get out of hair school and we're like, oh, we're going to make these 6-figure stylists and I'm going to become this educator and all these things. Like you can do that. But remember, it all starts from somewhere. No one gets out of the gate like this. No one gets out of the gate owning all these apartments or this big successful career. It just takes a little time and work and just putting yourself in those positions to know like this is going to be short-lived, and putting yourself into the right mindset and around the right mentors and everything like that.
Yeah, it takes time.
It just takes time.
As you know, Kim.
And what I think just to sum up what both of you said, I mean, working hard is never not going to pay off. I've been on this earth a long time now, and it's never not paid off, like ever.
Yeah.
That's one. And two, you know, who you surround yourself with, like you saw someone in your life that you wanted to model yourself after. We have those hairdressers who are doing the things that you want to do. Reach out to them. Like, can I come shadow you? I will work for free, whatever the case, right?
I've done that so many times. And I mean, even still, I reached out to someone just on a whim and someone was like, what's your New Year's resolution? A huge platform. I never thought she would see my message. And I told her that I wanted to share as many stylists financial freedom or financial stability as I can. And she actually put us on her platform. She reached out to us. So it's like, you never know. No, keep putting yourself out there. Keep going.
Oh, yeah. I love that. That's great advice. Thank you guys so much for that. Valuable. All righty. Before I let you get out of here, I have a game.
I'm excited about this game.
I'm nervous about this game. I feel
And don't be nervous. You know yourself. You know your life. You have all the answers.
Okay.
Just try to answer them fast. That's
Okay.
all, because you have 60 seconds.
We're competitive with each other, so it's going down.
Oh, so are we. Like, these questions are, you watch the Brad and Lewis interviews, so you see kind of how it bounces off. You just bounce off of each other. Whoever can answer the question is going to answer the question.
Okay,
so let me bring our little timer in. I've added this. This is pretty new. So give me 1 second. Okay, we're going to start from the beginning. Oh, God, please go to 60 seconds. Because the one thing you do wrong, that's what people point out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You said it was 60 seconds.
Right?
Don't we know?
You know that, huh?
Yeah.
Rolls.
Oh, and I also have something else that I've invited to the show because I am the queen.
Oh,
Love it.
Yes. Okay. Coffee or tea to start your day? Wait, let me set the timer. All right, go.
Coffee.
Coffee or tea to let me do it all over you guys. I think I talked over you because I was, and I can see now you guys are competitive. You're like, coffee. Okay. Okay.
Coffee or coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Coffee or coffee. Okay, ready? Coffee or tea to start your day?
Coffee.
What's one word you'd use to describe each other?
Handsome.
Energetic.
Who's the early bird and who's the night owl?
I'm the early
bird, night owl.
Your go-to song for motivation?
Ooh, that's tough.
If I'm going to get hype.
Most surprising expense in your budgeting journey?
Coffee.
Continued education.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Beach vacation or mountain escape?
Ooh, beach.
Beach vacation.
First thing you splurged on after becoming debt-free? You said it.
A trip. Yeah.
If you weren't in real estate and hair, what else would you be doing?
Brad would be doing the stock market.
Favorite way to unwind after a busy day?
Walk with the dogs.
Budgeting app or old school spreadsheet?
Budgeting app, Monarch.
Best part of working together as a couple?
Get to hang out with my best friend all day.
Oh, I love it. You guys did amazing. And lastly, and this is to test how humble you are, make your silliest selfie face.
Ooh.
That's great. I love it. You're part of my tribe. I love it. Thank you guys so much. And where can my audience find you and all of your amazingness?
We have our Instagram, beautyofwealth_. In there, our link is in our bio, beautyofwealth@hair.com or at beautyofwealth@hair.
Beautyofwealth.hair.
Sorry.
We paid extra for the .com to go away, and we did the .hair.
Go hair.
Oh, I love it. And also, I got to circle back to this because my newbie insider, Jordan, also said this, and this is more of a comment. As a new stylist, when I visit your page, everything is so clean and easy to digest. The bio is to the point, which is so nice for a new hairdresser.
I have to shout out Lindsay Pruitt at Lux social media. She helps us so much. I cannot thank her enough. And she is actually part of Beauty of Wealth's course. She has some social media tips and tricks and anything that you can implement in your business as well.
Oh, that's amazing. And I'll put her link in the bio of in the show notes for this episode.
Awesome. Yes.
She's a great person.
I love great people.
Man,
I really do.
Isn't it awesome when you can meet good people?
I'm telling you what, and I swear the universe it's for my own good when I don't. You know, I get mad because I'm like, oh my God, you can at least reply and say no, like Jesus, you know. And now I'm like, Kim, girl, it is not about you. It's about the next generation of hair, and just keep it there and we can all thrive.
Yes, we've been really enjoyed being on your show, Kim, and thank you so much it really is an honor to be on here. So
It really is.
We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you too. Have an amazing week.
You as
You
well.
as well.
Okay, bye.
Bye.